a story and a prayer. The story. One Shabbat morning not long ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson came to pray with us at IKAR in Los Angeles. He wanted to see the spiritual home that had so lovingly embraced his daughter, Ashley. He wanted to check us out, and I think he liked us. He smiled and he danced in his front row seat for nearly 3 hours of Hebrew prayers and songs. He listened intently as I mustered the best sermon I could give, given that one of the great orators of our time was seated just a few feet away. And then I turned to bless him. But before I could even finish my first sentence, the whole community rose in a rousing, spontaneous standing ovation. What they saw before them and what I saw was a man who wore the suit of a politician, but spoke with the voice of a poet and carried the soul of a prophet, calling our nation to redemption, healing, and unity. They saw a pastor who taught every one of us, the desperate, the damned, the disinherited, the disrespected, and the despised, that we were somebody. And they saw a father who gazed upon his daughter with awe and wonder, with that deep inner knowing that can sometimes live in a parent's heart. He waved and he took in the praise, and then he wept. And I thanked God that morning that the man who reminded America that we must never give up on seeking to right the wrongs of the past would so fully embrace and was so fully embraced by our Jewish community. What a holy thing it is to be seen for who you really are, not in your worst moments, but in your best. And I felt honored that our community could be a small part of this beloved community, the beloved community that Reverend Jackson helped envision, a diverse coalition of faith and forgiveness, compassion, conscience, and courage. Reverend Jesse Jackson had turned his life into a story of redemption, a story of love, understanding, and healing. And now a prayer. Holy One of blessing, as we celebrate the life of this moral and spiritual giant, help us remember that each of us too can turn our lives into a story of redemption, that our hearts are ever expansive, that forgiveness is always possible, that we are not yet done. As we honor Reverend Jackson, help us remember that though there is so much we cannot control in this crazy world, this we can. When we lead with love, we plant the seeds for a world that will be redeemed by love. And help us, God. God, help us. Remember that our nation, too, can still write a redemption story. Because the psalmist teaches us, Ba'erev yalin bechi v'laboker rina. We may lie down weeping in the night, but joy comes. Joy comes in the morning. Out of our brokenness will come healing. Out of our sorrow will come blessing. From our degradation will come dignity. It is not too late. In his memory, we still plant the seeds of a just America, a compassionate America, a true multiracial democracy. Please, God, we are aching for that joyous morning. In the spirit of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who reminded us that there is always a brighter side somewhere, grant us the strength in these dark and stormy days to keep on fighting, to keep on marching, to keep on loving until that long-awaited dawn finally emerges. Amen.